Let's say that one more time. God is good. Say it one more time. God is good.
Well, God bless you. Listen, this is Pastor Ray. I am so honored and delighted to have you to turn this way. And we're getting ready to carry you into a message that I preached not very long ago. I think it will bless you, your household, and your family. God moves in such mysterious ways. His wonders are to perform. I want to carry you in, let you listen to this message. We'll be back a little later. Let's go into church. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What shall we not receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Thank you so much. I want to talk for a little while about there are two sides to every story. There are two sides to every story. Help me say that there are two sides to every story. How can one be positive about Job's wife? Because all of my Christian living, I have never heard of a good thing about her. Every statement that is made about Mrs. Job is negative. People use her men use her when they get in back at their wives. When they want to say something bad to them, they say, you sound like Job's wife. And even when you read the one statement she made, it did not make her look good. But how many times do we take one statement and judge people's character all their lives? There are some people that don't get the benefit of the doubt because of something negative someone has said about them. And the negative seem to outweigh the positive. You do know that we're living in a negative environment, that we sit at our televisions every evening at 5 p.m. from 5 to 6 to hear negative stories, because nothing come on the news but negative. For the last 2 years, we have been glued to the television on CNN and NBC, Fox station. For 2 years, we have watched nothing but negative stories from morning to night.
to the point that we don't pay positive stuff no attention. We look for the negative. You can have 100 positive things said about a person and they will forget it. But mention one negative thing and it will follow them the rest of their lives. Why is it nothing good has been said about Job's wife? Matter of fact, she's only mentioned twice in the 42 chapters of the book of Job. In both cases, she's in the negative. In Job 31, her name come up again, just doing small talk. But here she says to her husband, curse God and die. Why would a woman say that to her husband, the man that she loved, the darling of her eye, the peach in her cobbler, the cream in her coffee, her hero, and yet she says to him, curse God and die. If you would pick the story up there, you wouldn't like Miss Job at all because of what she said. But you see, when you read verse 9, there's a word prior to the story that says, then. If a then is there, it meant something happened prior to the then. That there's a story behind her doing what she was doing or saying what she was going to say. You see, the tragedy of this story is that some things was going on that Job himself did not understand. You see, while Job was downstairs living for God, God had had a conversation upstairs with Satan about Job. I wonder sometime, do God have conversations with the devil about us? Because there are some people that I truly believe that God wants to brag about. Because God see you, he know you. He know you if he can depend upon you or if he cannot. Ephesians chapter 2 and 10 says we are his workmanship. The Greek word for workmanship is poema. It is where you get the root word poenis. It is where you get the English word poem from. That mankind is God's poem. We're God's work of art. And whenever you have a good work of art, you won't put your best work on display. In other words, we're God's billboard. He want to have somebody he can brag about. And so he asked Satan one day when he saw him, he said, where are you coming from? He said, I'm coming from to and fro, seeking whom I can devour. Listen at what God says to the devil. Have you considered my servant Job? Huh. I mean, it looked like God would have covered his own pride and joy But he says to the devil, if you want to try somebody, check out Job. Honestly, I have believed that God has done the same thing in my own personal life. That Satan went to him, and God says to the devil, say, where you coming from? He said, to and fro. I really think one day God says to the devil, have you considered my servant Frank? Listen at what the devil said, because the devil watch your stuff. You're not the only one watch your possessions. The devil watch that new car. The devil watch how in love with that house you are, and the possessions you have, and the family you have. The devil says, I've had my eye on Job for a while. Said, but you have hedged him up with blessings. That everywhere I look, you have blessed Job. Matter of fact, you have blessed him so until Job is the richest in the land. Job was rich, number one, in character, because nobody was like Job. Job knew how to not let possessions possess him. He knew how to take the blessings and still keep his eye on the blesser. He was blessed with character and personality, but he was also blessed with a family. He had a wife. He had 10 children. And you could tell he was in love with his children because he went to God for his children. He even paid tithes for them. He said, let me throw in something extra just in case if my children have forgot to bring the proper gift to you, I'm going to give an extra gift in their behalf. He had a tremendous family, 7 sons and 3 daughters. But he was also rich in faith because Job trusted in God. I don't know if you know it or not, but you can be flat broke financially. But if you have faith, you're still rich. He was rich in faith because if you got faith, lose everything else, faith will help you get it back. Faith is, talk to me somebody, you can't see it, but it's there. Faith is not a blank check. Faith is not a blind leap. Faith is not a bad choice. Faith is a trust in a true and a living God. He was rich in character, rich in family, rich in faith, but rich in grace. He had grace because God had favored him. Is there anybody here that God has favored? God had favored Job, and the devil knew about it. You see, the devil know about everything about you. The devil watch you. He see how you function. He watch you every night when you get on the floor and talk to God. The devil is looking. The devil watch you when you pay your tithes. The devil watch you when you lift your children before the Lord. The devil watch you when folk lie on you and you stay cool, calm, and collect. The devil got his eye on you. And the devil says to God, the only reason he's doing that is because you have showered him with blessings. I wonder this morning, is that the reason we're serving God? Are we serving him because we know he'll give us a new car? Are we serving him because we know he'll keep a roof over our head? What would you do if you would lose everything you have? Will you still trust him? If you lose every dime you got, will you still say, though he slay me, Yet will I trust in him. Watch what God says to the devil. God says to the devil, he's in your hands. Ain't that something? The only way the devil can get to us, the Lord has to allow it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. You see, because we have been hedged in not only with his blessings, but with his protection. The devil can't do nothing to us that God don't allow it to happen. And sometimes there are some folk the devil won't bother because you're not a threat to the devil. And some folk, the devil ain't gonna never bother you because you ain't doing nothing. But when you decide to live for the Lord, you become an instant threat to the devil. Talk to me, somebody. He said, he's in your hand. And the devil instantly started working on his stuff. He destroyed all of his camel, destroyed all of his livestock. Talk to me, somebody. He destroyed his she-asses all in one day. And notice how the devil used. He first of all used the army, used natural things. He then used fire, because they said fire from heaven. Some writers say it was lightning from heaven. Then he used a hurricane. The devil sent all those things to destroy Job's family. And when it took everything, Job said, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Can anybody here make the same statement? Because really, we can rejoice when the Lord giveth. But can you rejoice when the Lord taketh? Because just like God has a right to give, he has a right to take away. Y'all ain't saying nothing. He took everything Job had. But that wasn't the end of the story. The devil went back to the Lord again. And the Lord said, how you doing with Job? And Job says, skin for skin. All that a man have, what he give for his life. Here's what the devil was saying. Every man got a price. Look like I'm going to have to do this by myself. In other words, there's a weak point to every man. People believe that there's a price on every person. Football player walked up to a pretty woman and says, will you go to bed with me if I give you $100,000? She said, yes, I think so. He went back to her and said, will you go to bed with me if I give you $2? She said, of course not. What do you think I am? He said, I know what you are. He said, I'm negotiating the price. Look like I'm going to have to do this thing by myself. I've got a 55 Chevy Super Sharp. Pulled up to a service station. Guy ran up behind me, jumped out of the car. He said, what you want for it? What you want for it? I said, it's not for sale. He said, everybody got a price. And I want to tell him, you get a little higher, I sell it, but I said, no, it ain't for sale, sir. If he'd have came up a little, I'd have had to let it go. The devil knows that there's a price. He says to God, remember now, Job knew nothing about the conversation. It's between God and the devil. They talking over Job's head. God know Job, but the devil don't know him. See, the devil is not omnipresent. He's not everywhere at the same time. He's not omnipotent. He ain't got all power. He's not omniscient. He don't know everything. There's some things the devil himself really don't know. Come on, help me somebody. But he says, you let me touch his body. I make him curse you to your face. The Lord said, all right, devil. He says in Job chapter 2, verse 6, he said, listen, have your way with him, but don't take his life. The devil put sores and boils all on Job. He caused sickness to come upon Job to the point that now Job is so sick, has lost weight, sores and boils all over him. His breath is smelling bad. He has changed his countenance. He don't look like the same person. Has moved out of the house to the ash pile, to the city dump, where they take garbage, where they take waste and place it there. Job sits upon the ash pile. Has lost everything. Job lost his possessions. Job lost his livestock. Job lost his 10 children. Job lost all of his money. Lost all of his health. There he is waiting to die. All he got left is his wife and 3 friends. Anybody been there? It amazing how, Lord, hold me a moment. You can be rich this morning and in poverty tonight. It don't take long to lose everything you got. We have learned in life that questions we ask, sometimes we ask the wrong question. Yeah, y'all don't hear me. We ask question, what? Why am I going through this? That's the wrong question. Not why am I going through it, but what can I get out of this? Because sometimes God take the shovel of sorrow and dig the well of joy with. Sometimes you don't know who you are. Am I preaching, y'all? Until you get down to your lowest. Had lost everything. Now, let's go back to Miss Job a moment. Here Job is, now lost everything. His wife come to him, but you got to bear in mind that Job didn't have the 10 children by himself. Miss Job carried those children. Oh, y'all don't like me. In other words, they were her 10 children, just like they was his 10 children. The camel, the sheep, the she-asses, they was hers. I should say hers. Just like they were Job's. The money in the account belonged to Miss Job, just like they did Mr. Job. Yeah, she had lost everything. And she had lost her position. She was no longer the leading lady in the land. Yeah, she had to take a back seat when she had been used to the front seat. Miss Job, preach from Ray. The best thing she had now was out on an ash pile. The man she loved, she saw him just withering away. Miss Job had lost y'all don't hear me. And how many of you know that even you can be saved and have a weak moment? You can let stuff come out of your mouth, y'all don't hear me here, that you didn't intend to say, but because you're weak, weary, wounded, and without, you'll find yourself lashing out at the wrong people. Y'all don't hear me. But I want to just pause for a moment and tell you, ladies, men need you. And they need you more when they're going through than they do any other time. Because men are different from women. You see, women, when you're going through stuff, you let everybody know. You text it, send it out, and group text. Yeah. You go out to dinner and have a ladies' conversation and tell all the ladies what's going on with you. Y'all don't hear me. You get up and discuss it with your man night and day in details. You write it down in your little ledger. Men are different from that. Men hold stuff on the inside. That's why sometimes men will take a gun and blow their brains out and you don't even know what happened. Because you hold stuff on the inside. Y'all ain't helping me. He don't want to tell nobody. Real men don't tell everybody. Y'all don't like me. But they will tell the one that they're in love with. That's why, ladies, when your man is going through stuff, be a listening ear. Yeah, be an encouraging heart. God, your lips.
Well, God bless you. Listen, we're out of time, but you see, we're certainly not out of message. I hope you've been blessed while listening to just a portion of this message. I think the message will be a blessing to your household. Just order this message, 1-800-375-4007, or you can write to the God is Good Ministry, 2237 South Parkway East, Memphis, Tennessee, zip 38114, or go to God is Good Ministry. Love for you to check us out. Be blessed.
Time.